I got so much motherfucking design on right now.
Break it down, bring it back, make it clap. I got 3 old thoughts, new block, where that thing. Bitches on my line, and you know.
Good afternoon. Now we want to review the article. The title is Pragmatic Knowledge Assessment in Listening Sections of IELTS Test. Next. This is the members of the group. The group is Pemuda Batak Bersatu, Gracia, Hannah, Geltri, Desmond, and the last Della. Article identity. Title, Pragmatic Knowledge Assessment in Listening Sections of IELTS Test. Authors, Hamid Alami Yacht University, Yacht Iran. Paul, 4, number 2, page 332 until 340, February 2014. Next slide. Okay, this slide will explain by Della. Della, time is yours.
Thank you. Introduction. The article presents a study that looked into the IELTS listening exam pragmatic competency. Between 1990 and 2011, it examined the kind of question asked in the hearing segment of IELTS exam. The study looked at the number of things such as discourse functions, speech acts, and non-literal meaning. The results revealed variations over time in the inclusion of certain pragmatic factors. The researchers attempts to look into the pragmatic competency of IELTS hearing item is discussed in the document's introduction. The researcher intend to make up for the lack of scholarly attention given to the module by acknowledging it. The study focused on the nature of pragmatic competence in IELTS listening item is highlighted in the introduction's major points. The next slide continue by Hannah.
The next is review of related literature. The assessment of pragmatic knowledge in the IELTS listening part is the main topic of this document review of related literature. It states that pragmatic competence should be tested in language proficiency exams because it is a crucial part of communicative competence. It also demonstrates how little emphasis recent exams have placed on pragmatic knowledge. The role of pragmatic knowledge in language teaching and learning is discussed in the document, which cites numerous studies and sources. In order to establish ideas on language abilities and components, it highlights the contribution made by Cannell 1983 and Bachman 1990. Additionally, it references research from Jalilifar 2009 on request tactics and Ariados 2011 on listening comprehension question in language exams. Overall, the review of related literature suggests that while pragmatic competence is assessed in the IELTS listening module, there is a need for more attention to be given to the assessment of pragmatic knowledge in language proficiency tests. Next slide, continue by Desmond.
Okay, now we talk about methodology. This journal uses the method of collecting data from several IELTS tests, then selecting it, and then analyzing it. This journal also analyzed the IELTS test and its relationship to the pragmatic knowledge component. This journal also collects IELTS tests held in 1999 and 2011 published by Cambridge University Press. The next slide will be presented by Geltri.
Now we will talk about results. The document provides analysis of the pragmatic competence of IELTS listening items. It examines the inclusion of various aspects such as non-literal meaning, politeness, functions, speech acts, and course functions in the questions. The study covers the period from 1999 to 2011 and analyzed the frequency and differences in the use of different pragmatic categories over time. Next slide. There are 3 points in these results. 1. The study found that the inclusion of non-literal meaning in the question varied over the years, with the highest rates in 2009 and the lowest in 2002 and 2005. In terms of politeness functions, 60% of the questions entailed direct functions, while 40% involved indirect politeness functions. The highest rate of indirect politeness functions was observed in 1999 and 2007. The analysis of speech acts revealed variations in the use of different representative and directive categories over time. The highest frequencies or representative categories were found in 1999, 2011, and 2000, while the lowest was in 2005. The employment of different directive categories did not show significant differences. And the last, the study also examined the discourse functions in the questions and found variations in their frequencies over the years, with the highest rates in 2009, 2007, 2006, and 2011, and the lowest in 2002 and 2005. Okay, the last will explained by Grace.
Thank you. Discussion. In the discussion section, it discussed research on pragmatic competence assessed in the IELTS listening model test, but based on the detailed finding of the research, it can be concluded that the pragmatic knowledge component cannot be assessed the same as the IELTS test in different years. The study was conducted on 96 BA and MA Persian students and 10 native speakers of English. This course completion test or DCT was used to generate data related to pragmatics or request strategies and was used by each group. There are 2 factors underlying the selections of request situations in DCT, namely relative power and social distance. Due to the lack of published research on the IELTS listening module and the research findings mentioned in Chapter 2, which do not generally address the nature of listening questions. Many unanswered questions preclude research on the nature of item in the IELTS listening module. The findings of this study indicate that pragmatic competence is assessed in the IELTS listening module test, but it was found that the pragmatic knowledge component is not assessed equally in IELTS listening item in different years. Next slide will be presented by Desmond.
Now we talk about conclusion. The study investigated competency listening types from 1999 to 2011 alongside related literature that linguistic abilities, module validity, and the relationship between listening and unknowns. The study uniquely emphasized the nature of IELTS listening model items in relation to pragmatic competence. It discovered omissions of pragmatic categories in recent IELTS items, raising questions about their significance in respected tests like IELTS. The researcher just focused on competence to prove the test, especially the listening construction.
Okay, thank you for watching. We are from Group PBB. Say thank you and bye.